One of the things that the authors of the New Testament say is that God is generous with his wisdom. He's generous with his guidance. He's generous with helping us kind of understand and frame. And if we are patient and will ask, that he will help us to kind of get a bead on what he is doing in a given situation. So here's James 1:5. It says, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. Here's the kind of idea that I think what ends up happening for us a lot of times is we get into a situation, the word occurs to me, a pickle, a situation that is difficult for us, and we're having a hard time kind of interpreting what's going on. And what ends up happening is our RPMs just end up spinning so fast on the inside that we have a hard time really sitting down, calming ourselves down enough to try and ask God and say, well, Lord, what are you doing in this situation? What we get caught in doing, I think, is we get caught in asking God to fix it, asking God to make it better, asking God to do all kinds of things, except for asking him what in the world is going on in the midst of the whole thing. As James actually talks about, that God uses trials and uses all kinds of situations to actually deepen our character and do things that God is using the tough things that are going on in our lives to do things that are beautiful and eternal inside of us. But oftentimes what ends up happening, because we just want him to fix it, we don't ask for wisdom, we ask for fix. And so I want to ask you right now, what kinds of conundrums, what kinds of difficulties are you going through right now where you need to get some understanding and some wisdom from God in terms of Lord, what are you doing in me in this situation? What are you doing in the situation on the whole? What are you doing in others in the situation? And ask those questions and believe God that he is generous and he wants to clue you in to what he is doing at work in any given situation, in that situation that you're in right now. Ask him, and then lower your RPMs, sit and listen. Lord, what are you doing in me in the midst of this? Lord, what are you doing in them in the midst of this? What are you doing overall in the midst of this situation that's so difficult for me?